Alrighty, let's see. Looks like we are live right now. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. Okay. We got it. We're in here. Just put a 1 if you guys have audio. Hey, Pam. Okay, good. Good stuff. All right, let's say hey to some people real quick before we get into discussing what we're going to talk about. I got a lot. I'm sure you guys do too. So we'll talk about everything. We'll kind of spread it out. Get in a couple different things. Cancel Bubble, what's going on? How are you tonight? Pam, how you doing, darling? MC, what's going on? How you doing, my man? Dan the Pilot, Dave, good evening. Jamie, how are you tonight? Dave says, want to remind our stock lovers that I went to the movies last night. Significantly more people buying tickets to the movies than stopping in to buy a hard copy of a game. Don't listen to the doubtful hate. What are we talking about? The game. Hard copy of the game. All right. Broke Ape, what's going on? Thomas B. Thomas says, did you get my email? No, Thomas. I will check for it when I get off with you guys. Tommy, email. Put that down. Casey Hogue is in the house. Anya, how you doing tonight? I'm doing all right. Honestly, it's been a rough 48, 72 hours. I'm sure for everyone, right? Seeing the stock drop like that. Daniel, what's going on, man? Yeah, it's been rough. And I don't know what to chop it up to. I don't know how we can explain what we saw other than either those shares were dropped, a lot of them, or there's something extremely fishy going on, as Tommy B just said. Tom says it shows Weeble stole money and then gave it back. Wow. So, do you have screenshots of that, Tommy? Sharkbite, what's going on? Yeah, it's real rough, man. I know. Hammer, how you doing tonight? I will definitely check my email, Tom, to see exactly what you're speaking on. As soon as I get off here. G-Man, what's going on? How you doing? Dibs Patel, how are you, my friend? Rector Knight is in the house. Make sure I just say hey to everyone. All right, I think I get everyone. Anya says Barbenheimer will boost Q3. Yeah, we're getting there, right? I saw the numbers. We're getting there. Jesse says it's tough, but it's in the email you sent me, Tom. Okay. I will do that as soon as I get off, my man. I get my word. G-Man, Jerry Hazelton, rough is an understatement. Yeah, it's been awful. For AMC, for all of us that are holding, it's been rough to see us get wiped like that, right? Yeah. And I'm hoping that we're going to get an announcement rather soon that they're done with the dilution for a little bit. And hopefully that's what we can ascertain happened over the last 4 or 5 days. Yeah, Sharkbite, they got plenty of room to raise money now, right? No doubt about that. He's got tons of ammo to raise money. But the stock price right now being where it's at, because technically, if we're really thinking about it, this is like a 70-cent stock right now. I just don't understand how we can come up with that evaluation. And, the last couple of days I've seen, the reason why I put in the thumbnail tonight was the finger pointing, right? Like, who is to blame for this? It seems like there are a lot of bad actors, and it seems like everyone is against AMC right now, or anyone that's hoping for a squeeze still. And, I fall into that category, right? And I'm sure a lot of you guys do too. Dr. McLovin's in the house. He says, hey, I still got my play with 251 shares from the reverse. Yeah, so I want to talk about that, right? Because I think it's important that we, especially if I'm coming on YouTube and we're doing a live stream like this, and you guys are all involved, and you guys have been following me for a long time. A lot of us have been in this for 2.5 years over now. So I want to kind of talk about what my thoughts are going forward from here on out, because this play has changed so much. So many curveballs have been thrown our way that we just weren't anticipating. And you kind of have to go with the punches as they come, right? And at the same time, I feel like we've been kind of abandoned. And if not abandoned, it's even more intense because we're getting shit on by the rest of the, retail traders, by mainstream media, um, the hit piece articles, and the division, of course, that is constantly something that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, right? As far as with Adam Aaron and his handling of everything so far. So there's a lot going on. Plus, in the grander scheme of things, you have a lot of big money people out there who are betting against the market in the near future. Speaking about, Michael Burry and Warren Buffett and all these guys who have made substantial bets that we are headed for a major collapse in the market. You throw on top of that, the actors are striking. You throw on top of that, and I can speak to this firsthand after I just did this travel across the country. People in certain cities are starting to realize that they may want to stay home instead of going to a movie because no one's prosecuting for crimes. They're getting their cars broken into. I mean, there was all kinds of shit going on, like almost complete lawlessness in some of these cities. And you throw that in with everything else that the former president of the United States has been indicted 91 times. They are trying to jail people right now. The governor of Arizona just is trying to suspend the Second Amendment. The FBI is colluding with American gun safe companies to give the codes to the FBI on private citizens' gun safes. I think we are already in a very bad place right now as a country, and I'm nervous. I really am. All right, go back to the chat. I don't mean to ramble on, but there's a lot of things that I have taken into consideration right now when I'm speaking to you guys because it's important. There's a lot of money at play here, and it's important that we keep everything in perspective and make sure that our head's on a swivel and we know what's going on around us. And I'll talk about buying and selling and all that too. We'll get into that. Don't worry, because I have, I have my idea of what I'm going to be doing going forward. So we'll talk about that. We'll get into it. Casey says something is coming. Look at the world stage, September 20th in CBDC. War is ramping up in Ukraine. China breaks. Yeah. Okay, so that too, right? Then we got that Elon just possibly saved us from a major catastrophe that really would have pissed off Putin, and who knows what he would have done at that point. Then you got all these famous people coming out, getting COVID, putting the masks back on, the new shot that's going to be ready. I just saw the press release. They're going to have the new boosters ready up on the 14th. Now, I don't know if they're going to be locking us down again. I hope to God not. And if they try, I hope to God that we do not comply. There's just so much uncertainty right now. I've never been so unsure about the future of this country as I am right now. And it's a sad state of affairs, I think. Jerry says, it's insane because after reading comments and the amount of money people put in, seems impossible to watch it disappear. Well, I don't think that's gonna happen, right? I don't think AMC is going anywhere. I would like to see the writers and actor strike come to an end sooner than later. Like, as soon as we get that over with, and I was reading the other day that, it was saying in an article that a lot of the actors are really struggling right now. You know, not obviously the mainstream actors, but some of the extras and background actors, those people are struggling right now. They're living out of their cars. So maybe this pressure, which is sad because it's just showing that the big companies are putting the squeeze on the little guy again. But maybe there will be some type of capitulation coming soon because of how desperate these people are, unfortunately. And I hate to see, you know, bad things come to anyone. And I hate to see unions get crushed. I hate to see people losing money. So, I want them to be able to get some things that they need. Not for, again, not for the main Hollywood actors. I'm talking about the little guys and everyone who's working behind the scenes who doesn't get recognized, right? I want those people to be able to have a bargaining chip so that they can get a living wage, a decent wage, and keep up with inflation and every other fucking thing this administration has done to us, right? Super Steve, what's up, my brother? How you doing? Freekekistan says, I don't use Robinhood, but do have a watch list. AMC has been removed 3 times. So I've seen that a lot too, right? I've seen a lot of people talking about the brokerage apps taking AMC off their watch list, which is very weird. And let me just ask real quick to the chat. Anyone in Freekekistan, you can fill me in on this. Was it just AMC or are there other stocks that also have left? I know we're like the biggest conspiracy theorists, but is it just AMC? Because I've seen some people saying that. Yeah, Jerry, again, I want to see the strike come to an end. And I don't think that the Democratic Party right now can ramp up any more rhetoric as far as going back to like what happened back in 2020 with Antifa and BLM and all that. I don't think they can go down that road again. And I don't think they're going to be able to jail their political opponents. So this thing that everyone's kind of anticipating might happen might be something overseas, right? Could be something with Ukraine where there's some type of major thing that goes on and all of a sudden the whole of NATO is thrust into the war. I don't know why, because Ukraine is not a NATO member, but obviously we are fighting a proxy war there right now. And if American troops have to put boots on the ground, that would be just like the governor just did in New Mexico on suspending the Second Amendment. I mean, are they going to just say, well, we can't have an election this year because we're in the middle of a world war? Freekekistan says, very annoying. I have like 20 stocks and only AMC gets taken off. I'm just curious. I'm going to go look right now just to see if mine's still on my watch list. Hang on one second. I should have done this earlier, but I'm just going to see if it's still on my watch list. Curious. Jennifer, how you doing tonight? Aaron Friel, what's going on? He says, I haven't sold a single share. I mean, shit. If I've held since 72, I'm not selling at 72 cents. They'd have to kill me. Jerry says, Lou looks like a genius now. God help us. Lou, the problem with that is every other video, it's a different story. I mean, yeah, he says AA is terrible and this and that. And the next day he says, oh, well, we're due for a run. I don't watch Lou anymore. I got over that a long time ago once I figured out who he was. But yeah, broken clock is always right twice, right? But Donkey says Morant Smelly Pants is calling you out, Mass. That guy has issues. Calling me out about what? What's he calling me out about? Ape named Roscoe says, anyone else think the actor strike is being led by whoever is sorting the stock? Man, that's a conspiracy theory. I can't see that there will be this cabal. I mean, unless we were going to crash the entire financial system. There's someone talking the other day, though, saying that, Is it possible that there were some backdoor deals made back in 2021 with Robinhood and Citadel and what happened with Melvin, where maybe because let's not forget. Hold on, let me just play this real quick. Just a reminder for everyone. The dog says Morantz just did a video about you and Tony D. What was he saying? What was he saying? Frikekistan says, "Am I the only moron that likes the brain dead interface?" Is okay. So I'm just seeing if mine's still on my watch list. Yeah, mine is still there, but I'm trading now in Fidelity, so I don't go to my Webull as much. What was Morantz's video about me and Tony D? Dog says, "Be brave when others are fearful." Super Steven, how you doing, man? MC, thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. Much love. Much love. George, how you doing tonight? George says, meme stocks are dead, all of them. GME, AMC, BBY, average before RS was somewhere between 8 and 35. Yeah, I don't understand how we're at this evaluation right now. It's just so crazy to me. It's so crazy. And honestly, I'm going to talk to you guys before we click off tonight about what I think I'm going to be doing going forward. Because of this uncertainty that's coming on with the nation itself. And I think the entire market right now is overinflated and it's being propped up on air. And there's a couple fintech companies and a couple other, blue chip stocks really that are holding the market together right now that are performing very well. And if we see any kind of lockdown or war, or if they jail Trump or something like that, then all bets are off. And I want to be ready for that day. Super Steven says, Mass, could you intentionally run AMC into BK to cover everything about this play? Or do you think institutions lending shares won't allow that to happen? Could you intentionally run AMC? Oh, into bankruptcy. Yeah, so I've heard that too, right? I've heard people talking about that there's a possibility that the next thing on the table is bankruptcy. Now, we just did a reverse split and conversion, and we're armed with however many shares right now, and we just put 40 million into the market. Let me ask you this. If AMC were to declare bankruptcy, well, let me ask you this. Do you think Taylor Swift and her promotional team, her agent, her family, do you think they would get heavily invested into doing this with AMC if they were on the verge of bankruptcy? Don't you think they've done their homework with AMC for her to ink this deal? Lizzie says, I saw Barbie last night. It was good. Hey, Lizzie, how you doing? Yes. Oh, that was Stevie asked me that, not Super Steven. Sorry. Yeah, I don't see that. I don't think so. They've look, we finally turned a profit last quarter, and even though it was shit, it wasn't great. Looks like we might be able to do that again. We're getting pretty close. We got good numbers. So, and again, 72 cents a share. So we're at an all-time low right now. I mean, this brings me back to February and March of 2021 when the stock was at $4, $5, $6. And I'm thinking to myself, man, and that was when we had zero revenue, right? The biggest movie coming out was, I think, did 30 million, which was Godzilla vs. Kong. And I was buying then. So I have to ask myself, does it make sense for me to not just, it doesn't make sense for me to sell right now, but at what point am I going to start looking at buying back in, waiting for a run up? Because let's say that we haven't found bottom yet. Let's say that we have another $1 or $2 to go, and we get back down to $5, which would be like 50 cents a share. Is that a fair market evaluation for AMC right now, considering everything that's going on? I don't think so. So the question is, when do institutions, when does FOMO, when do people get excited again and know that money can be made? And then the question becomes, what do you do at that point? Because if the strike continues and some of these other things um, happen, then all bets are off the table as far as a profitable quarter again. Now I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Let's see. Mickey says, so did we lose? I'm confused. I haven't sold yet, Mickey. So I mean, I've lost money. Money even down from when I first bought back in 2021. But we haven't lost yet. If you're still holding, you're losing, but you haven't lost. Dennis says, I just bought my bubble on, so I'm going to be really safe soon. Super Steven says, excuse me, there are many catalysts that are positive for AMC, but issue is more apes listen to the wrong people regarding trading strategy. Yeah, Super Steven, like, there's a lot of times where we've made mistakes in the past where probably there were moves that could have been made that would have helped out retail. I mean, unfortunately, we never saw what the full potential of the squeeze was. Not in January 2021 because they took away the buy button, and not in June 2021 because we got 20 million shares dropped off us. 20 million shares dropped on us in the middle of a historical run. So I don't know if we actually saw AMC's full potential yet, but I did notice on Twitter. Let me see if I bookmarked it. Hang on one sec. It was I think it was from the Gap report, and they were talking about. No, I didn't bookmark it, but they were talking about how they were. I think it was like 2-1. AMC, they needed like 1.3 billion, and GME was about half of that, somewhere maybe 750 million, 800 million. So man, I mean, and it's not lost on me what retail has done with this stock in the past and what can happen. The question is, what do you do at that point? And that's why I want to try to get into a little bit more tonight. Let's see. Casey says Putin is winning the war. Oh, sorry, Steven. I wanted to get your thing. There are many catalysts that are positive for AMC, but issue is, oh yeah, I did read that. Okay. Yeah. Trading strategy. Yeah. So I want to get into that in a little bit. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about strategy going forward, echo chambers, the buy and hold, the options. I want to talk about all that. So before I let you go, we're going to talk about that. Casey says Putin is winning the war. It looks like Ukraine appears to be. Yeah, then they're surrendering in droves. I saw that. They've made zero progress in this offensive since April. There's a week left in the summer, and they haven't broken through anywhere. The war is over. They've lost. Ukraine is lost. The question now becomes, how desperate is NATO to save face, or the United States to save face on this? Because they haven't bled Russia like they thought they were going to. Ukraine appears to be getting slaughtered. From sources I've seen that our mainstream Americans are going to be shocked when they see how useless our military. Oh, forget it. If they call in the U.S., we're in a lot of trouble. We're not ready for that. We've just depleted our entire arsenal. Plus, we left $2 billion in arms in Afghanistan when we pulled out. Remember? So we not only lost an entire army outfit with all of its vehicles and everything, but we also have depleted our ammunition, mortar rounds, shells, Bradley fighting vehicles, Abrams. The Putin right now is destroying even the what they thought was like the unstoppable tank, right? The Challenger that comes from Britain. They're smoking them. The war in Ukraine is over. I mean, that maybe that's a little presumptuous of me, but in my opinion, the war is over. And it's been over for a little bit. We should have been at the bargaining table a long time ago. And all we're doing now is hundreds of thousands of people are being killed for no reason. because of egos and old scores and, this revamp of the Cold War. There is no need for NATO anymore. Badonk says problems with Cash App. I've seen that, Badonky. Yeah, I've seen that. I had a little issue with Fidelity. They ended up giving me cash for some of my shares. I noticed that last week. Cancel Bubba says FBI had a warrant for the Liberty Safe combo. They were going in one way or the other. If you can't trust the company in the United States that's making your gun safes, that's named themselves Liberty Gun Safes, and they're not colluding, but they're cooperating with the FBI without your knowledge to let them into your personal property, that's a major fucking problem. Major problem. JRS2218, what's going on, my man? He says, you would think the shorts want to run up squeeze so they could short it back down again and make money. See, I want to talk about that. Because we've seen this before, right? And every time this happens, we're not able to break through. We've never been able to get back to that all-time high again. And really, that is the threshold, right? That is the threshold. We're not even close. Tony D's in the chat. Tony, did you hear that Moran just did a video about me and you? I have no idea why. MC says it's just more trash talk from Moran's. Anya says someone should do a video about how Tony is on target when it comes to stocks. Yeah, he called things that were going to happen. And a lot of us, I think a lot of us have been in that echo chamber of the buy and hold strategy at all costs, by all means, no matter what. And at a point, we have to start asking ourselves, like, can we really have that much influence? Do we have, yes, it shows, everyone's showing that we own 90% of AMC right now. It's probably more than that, right? But if the powers that be aren't going to let this run, they aren't going to let it run. And so then it becomes, what is the next logical step that we have to make as retail traders? I just think it's something we should think about, because continuing to get crushed is not the way to be a retail trader. Getting your emotions involved is not the way to be a retail trader. George says, Johnny, he was 100% correct about Ape. Yes, absolutely. The theory, the speculation was spot on. Everything, it all hinged on whether the judge was going to let it fly. Right? That's what this really hinged on. The numbers don't lie. It was just a matter of which way was Zern going to vote. Which way was she going to rule? Super Steven says, Georgia said earlier that the people who listen, the wrong people, will never recover their money. But if you trade AMC correctly, you're going to make money. So we're gonna get into that. Dan the Pilot says, Mass, good to hear you on live. Dan, good to see you. Thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate you coming by and hanging out, even though it's been a rough week. Emerald Jeff, how you doing, man? Jennifer says, Meet Kevin was right about Ape, honestly. Yeah, Meet Kevin and Wrench and a lot of guys said that Ape didn't have any value to it, right? That they couldn't see any reason for it to hold any monetary value. And hence we got hammered, right? Let's see. Get down here. James Harris, how you doing tonight? Big Boom says, buy back in. Yeah, buy back. Like very soon. I tried, and now looking back at it in hindsight, I tried to buy in almost at the top at, $10, $11, $12 the other day. But because Fidelity's brokerage app was down, I couldn't. And we dropped 50%. So maybe that was a blessing in disguise. James says, Mass, do you seriously think distributors are not getting a hold of Adam Aaron, cutting them out against him? Let's see how good of a deal Adam Aaron gets on his distribution now. Oh, mass. I'm thinking mass for COVID. Let me read that again. Mass, do you seriously think distributors are not getting a hold of Adam Aaron, cutting them out against him? Yeah, it's possible. And I'm not even sure that it's not some connection to even money or the access to capital or something to do with the banks out there. I just don't know. I don't run in those circles with these people. These are the 1%. I don't know how deep their loyalties lie. But with the bankruptcy thing, again, I don't think that Taylor Swift has I think Taylor Swift's promotional team, her managers, those people, I'm hoping that they obviously did their due diligence and they weren't going to tie themselves to a company that's about to claim bankruptcy. Anya says reverse split was only way AMC could possibly avoid. Oh, we could have sold 10, right? We could have sold 10 billion apes at $1, $2. We could have done that. Dan the Pilot says, I'm staying out for now. Dan, I hear you. I understand. But this play is constantly changing by the day, and I think we have to adapt to survive. And I feel like maybe we've been living in an echo chamber. I shouldn't say we. I have been living in an echo chamber of the buy and hold strategy with that's the only option. It's the only thing you can do. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but we'll get into that. Doug says people that are new to trading have to understand this is not the first time this has happened. This playbook is used over and over. Remember DRYs. So that's another thing, right? About this community, and it's a blessing, right? And it's also a hindrance sometimes because we have a lot of new young traders who this is maybe their first time in the market. They just open a brokerage account to buy AMC or GME or another meme stock. And they don't really, some of the mechanics of the market and how much of a gamble and a risk it really is lost on them, right? They're so green as far as their trading experience that, they don't want to get involved with trying to make money here and there and a little bit here and there. They're looking for the big payday, right? And I know we all are looking for that big payday. We've all been waiting for that since day one, but it hasn't come yet. I mean, unless you cashed out at 72, that big payday hasn't come yet. Big Boom says, first you said you have to buy back in. So I'm talking post-split, right? Because we're in discovery now, Big Boom, right? The stock is now been reverse split and conversed. So it's finding itself in the market, right? We're in discovery phase. So now post split, I'd like to buy back in, especially where I think these shares are undervalued. Tony says, Anya, you can't explain financials to people who have no interest in learning. T, what was the video from Arance about me and you? Something from a live stream? Anya says, read the financials. Big Boom says he could have reverse split ape, then sold 1 billion shares for 5 to 6. He could have reverse split ape, then sold 1 billion shares for 5, 6, 7 billion. Jennifer says, yes, Ukraine is about prolonging the war, not winning. That's obviously what the U.S. government does, right? It's not to keep Ukraine and save their democracy. They're the most corrupt country in Eastern Europe and have been for a long time. This is about siphoning money off from the American people. And now they're talking about 500 million for Ukraine's green energy. Are we fucking... I mean, at what point does it become that these people are no longer serving the best interests of the people and they need to go? At what point? James says, I've read the financials. You think it's important to save AMC. Why is he sitting on shares rather than selling 18, 16, or 14 you've been had? We didn't get as high as 18, did we? No, I don't think it's important to save AMC, but I don't know what's coming in the future. Not right as of this second, but I have no idea how long this strike's going to go on. They're already pushing movies back that were supposed to come out in Q4 of 2023 into Q1 of 2024. That's not good. That's just being real. And I don't know how long this is going to continue to go on. You're talking about, maybe Biden will come in and crush the unions, but like he did with the with the trains. Jennifer says, so what is AMC getting now that the stock is worthless? Did AMC already sell shares? So they put out that 40 million, right? I would have to assume that that's what we saw some of this downward momentum the last couple of days. If not, then we have a serious problem. Super Steven says, glad to see your trading journey progressing, Master Lawyer, and great to see you evolving. Look, man, right now it's becoming a thing of like evolve or die. And, I've been hoping on this stock to get me over the hump to be able to afford to buy my own place, start a family. And so far, it hasn't been able to do that for me. And the strategy we've been using, I shouldn't say we because not everyone's doing what I'm doing, but the buy and hold, buy and hold, buy and hold, and pray for a miracle isn't working. And I know some people don't want to hear that, but that's all I see right now. I mean, look at the chart. Big Boom says, he said you're the reason everybody lost their money. Yeah. Is that what he said? Well, I'm glad we're doing this live stream. I hope he stops by so he can tell me about how I did that. Dave says the brand of this corporate nation is to oversell and manipulate in the open. The corruption is obvious. Laws are seemingly meant to be broken. Have you paid your taxes yet? What are FTDs? Yeah, 50 days on the threshold list, right? Jennifer says, I have so many losses eventually. I would love to use them on tax returns. James says, besides Tony, nothing you said was going to happen has been correct. So your DD really does blow. James, what did I say was going to happen? Please elaborate. I'd love to know. What did I say was going to happen? Tony says, literally everything we said would happen happened. The vote would pass. The settlement would be approved. AMC would go down. It all happened. Yeah, and some people made moves before that and, were able to capitalize on that. And I'm happy for everyone who did that. And that was the smart strategy. That's what a retail investor does is they make money, they take profits, or if they see something coming down the line, it's all about that, right? Anticipation and making a smart bet. Candace says, but AA said it was the same if they could have shorted us down. That's something, Candace. That's something I can't come to terms with that. That's definitely something I'm having a hard time coming to terms with. 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. This is 70 cent stock right now. Again, is AMC only worth 70 cents a share? You tell me. And where are we going to see that bottom that institutions and other retail investors and whales and people like that see an opportunity to make money? How many times have we seen this thing come down 50, 40%, 30% and bounce a couple days later or vice versa? Stock. Is what do you do after that? If you think we're going to have a run, Are we going to break to all-time highs? Are we going to create the conditions for a MOAS or help recreate those conditions? Because we keep waiting and waiting and waiting for that day to come, and it hasn't come. And we're getting no help from the regulatory bodies. The CEO doesn't seem to be interested in finding out anything that could be going on illegal. And, that's something I've had to live with as an investor in AMC, is that Adam Aron is who Adam Aron is. He has his strategy on saving this company. And I either have to be willing to go along with that as a shareholder, or I should have sold. It's on me, right? If I'm still in this and I think Adam Aron is a complete snake and all he wants to do is bankrupt AMC, then I'm the idiot still in this play. Gus says it can only go so low. It had to gap fill at least 19 eventually, but over yet is the question. That's the big question. Yeah. Yep. And when do we touch bottom? And then how hard or high do we run? And then at that point, do we just hold on and pray? Dan says, not yet. Lower prices coming. Yeah, I totally think we could see $5. I totally do. Maybe not much lower than that, but we could see $5. Big Boom says, yeah, because you told people this was a good thing. That the reverse split is a good thing? Yes, it is. It was. It is. This is the only chance they have of staying alive. You get that, right? You understand, especially if the strike continues to go on. Like if we or they lock us down or anything. You have to be ready for anything that's coming. You can't just sit back and say, "Oh, well, they got 300 million in the bank and we made 8 million last quarter. That should be enough to get us through." With a company that's $5 billion in debt. It's just froth for the shorts. Looking at that kind of looking at those kind of numbers. Dr. Love says buyback so they can short it again and you are minus those shares at well. Well, that's the risk you take in the stock market, right? I'm 7 minutes behind. Sorry, guys. I'll try to catch up. Let me go all the way to the front. I'll try to start over again. I didn't realize how far behind I was. My fault. How do we know we don't, Alan. We don't yet. We don't. All we know is that they put out the release for 40 million. We will have no idea until they actually put out the next filing saying that we're done with dilution for now. Hopefully that's enough to keep our heads above water. We get one more profitable quarter here in Q3, and hopefully the strike comes to an end. There's no lockdowns, there's no war, they don't lock up Trump. All those things happen. But that's a lot to hope for. Jennifer says, I watch live trading sometimes and they all short AMC. Who's all, Jennifer? Billy says the stock is not 720, it's 72 cents. Hey, Billy, how you doing, man? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see how, but this is one thing I did get wrong. I'll admit this, right? I didn't think they'd be able to short this down to 72 cents. 72 cents a share? When have we seen that price? If you look at the fundamentals right now, I know no one wants to do that, but looking fundamentally at the company, it's at its all-time low, and we've had the best numbers in 2 years. So make that make sense. Dave says, Tony DeNiro, that is exactly why AE is quiet. Why screw an unpredictable sale on debt? Jennifer says, some say Trump will be in prison. Here's the thing. How valuable is a short squeeze to me if by the middle of next year, we've had all of our constitutional rights suspended because the people who are in office right now don't want to leave. I mean, Nancy Pelosi's coming back to run again. If we've learned anything over the last 2.5 years, term limits, and we can't have geriatrics working in government. But she's coming back again. Why? Take one wild guess. She's not coming back to help her constituents in San Francisco, California. She's coming back to F Trump. Dave says Taylor Swift is about to drop a nuke when it comes to real-time sales. Pre-sales now. I saw something that, I saw it yesterday, I think 4 different movies have pushed back their release dates because of the ticket sales. That's how overwhelmingly positive it is. Which, that might really help us in Q4, especially if this strike continues. And again, looking back over the last 2.5 years, did I think Disney, one of the biggest movie, producers of content in the world, was going to go woke and lose $900 million in the last 8 films? No. No one can anticipate that. No. Big Boom says, it's okay. Why does he only use dilution on his shareholders to pay his debt? Like, we can help, but damn, we are only his cash cow. Yeah, he's using shares, and the guy's been asking for shares since May of 2021. He's been asking and begging retail to give him some shares to shore up the books. And I was right in there with everyone else saying, no way, you cannot dilute this. It's going to kill any possibility we have of a short squeeze or a MOAS or whatever it is that we were hoping was going to happen. We were all adamant that could not happen. And multiple times he came on and asked and asked and asked. And we said, no, no, no. When the price was $40, $50, $60, $30, which would have given us, it would have sucked for a couple weeks or a month or two. But now we're in such a pinch. Our backs are up against the wall. Tony says, when I see a filing, I always assume sales are starting immediately. Look, let's just go back to what happened the last 2 times we had dilution. And I was going to bring this up, but I forgot to actually write down what the stats were. All right. But I want to play something, though, because we're talking about Adam Aron and everything going on and how he's trying to crush the company. I want to take you back to what he said a few years ago before this whole thing get ramped up, and just listen to what he talks about in this interview. Hang on. Okay, we should be up now. What is that? Why is there a million screens? Why is there a million screens? Hang on. I don't know why it's showing me a million screens right now. Damn it. Hang on. All right. Let's put this up. We'll make it big, and then we'll talk.
But Adam, all due respect, we're looking at a 3-year chart of your stock. It's down 63%. So why the disconnect based on the rhetoric and the picture you just painted?
Well, if you look at our stock, there's something very specific that's going on that really has to do with the movie business. There was a new accounting rule that went into effect essentially April 1, ASC 842. It relates to how we account for operating leases. And the major services, the data services, Bloomberg, FactSet, Capital IQ, as they interpreted this rule, they have actually misstated our debt. They took our debt level at AMC from $5 billion on March 31 to $12 billion on April 1, when there was no change in our interest obligations, there was no change in our cash flows, there was no change in our real leverage, there was no change in our business, and we believe the data services are incorrectly reporting information that is not consistent with GAAP. That's something that we've obviously been talking to services about intensively. This has caused what honestly massive short selling in our shares, and our stock has dropped markedly. Candidly, we think that's a buying opportunity for a lot of people because we do think we will get this addressed. They can't misreport our numbers forever.
So Adam Aron's well aware of the tactics of the market and how people can annihilate. I mean, look at the chart he just had up, right? In 2019, they were doing record box office numbers. So to see ourselves here at this point in time and seeing the rundown that we've got, all of the selling pressure, all of that wind that's been taken out of our sails, right? I mean, they've really beat us to hell since early June of 2021. I don't think it's lost on Adam Aron that there is still some shenanigans going on. I don't know how he can proceed with doing anything about it. I don't know if he wants to get into that mess. Clearly, he said, and we've heard people say, bring up the conversation, he doesn't believe in synthetic shares. Whatever that is in his opinion, that's his opinion. I don't think that's correct. I think there is still a lot of nonsense going on. But again, we don't have any tangible evidence right now to force someone's hand into cleaning up the market, right? We tried to do a protest down at the SEC last year that got us nowhere, or the beginning of this year, which got us nowhere. We've been screaming and bitching and moaning about it on here for 2.5 years, and it has fallen on deaf ears. So we're on our own. We have our community and, a couple famous people who are, trying to be a friend of retail, or at least they appear to be at times. But again, the whole thing with going out and signing the Swift deal, how is he, why do that? There's a chance right now that, he could just fade off into the, fade off and get out of here. And the other thing that really I think about a lot too, and everyone says about AA, what would be the downside to AMC if we did see a new run past 72 to all-time highs with a massive squeeze and all of retail, after all this suffering we've gone through, to get paid, be proven right about what's going on in the market, and AMC would have a bunch of money, because if the stock squeezes, then the price would go up astronomically and they could be out of debt in days, right? And set themselves up with a nice war chest to do whatever they want with it. And Adam Aron rides off in a blaze of glory. I don't know what the downside is to that. You don't need the banks anymore if you've just made history with paying off 3.8 million retail investors in astronomical numbers. AMC would be the talk of, the decade. That's all people will be talking about. How would that possibly be a bad thing? So I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around Adam Adams trying to bankrupt this company. I really am. All right, let me get back to the comments real quick. Billy87. Billy, how you doing tonight, man? He said they've been triggering SSR every day, but the fidelity buy-sell ratio constantly is 4-1. Every day it's 4-1. Every day. Yep. 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 I know. I've seen it. Super Steven says, best thing I can tell you guys is trading strategy is not the same as philosophy on markets. Don't mix the two if you want to be successful. And look, you don't have to necessarily trade AMC, right? If you want to continue to buy and hold, and let me just get this out of the way real quick because I know someone's going to ask. And I said this last year and then I didn't sell, but the same principle applies today. Anytime there's a major thing like this, and I know me and Tony talked about in the live stream back when they made APE and gave us the APE as a dividend, I said at that point forward, I would make a decision on anything that I bought, but I would hold what I had at the time. Now, I didn't sell any in between that time, but that same rule applies to today. Any shares that I have in the market before I buy this dip that's coming up will remain for a buy and hold, right? I don't want to fuck with anyone else's numbers that have been, tied with me for the last 2.5 years. Those shares will stay where they are, and I will use what I have to my advantage right now, the little money I do have, to try to, get another position that I can use to do as I wish with. Cancel Bubble says Nancy Pelosi isn't the problem. It's the people who keep re-electing her, expecting something different this time. Yeah, I mean, we're really going to let this crook back into Congress, a woman who's enriched herself by making policy and having her husband invest millions of dollars. And she'll get voted back in. AMC Panda says she needs $1 billion in stock gains. Right. How you doing, AMC Panda? Yes. Yeah, MC. Right. Jennifer says, sorry to wake people up. But our ideals were a fairy tale pushed on us long ago with the government. The foreign policy of war and terror is now used on us. Yep. They just arrested someone else just a couple days ago. A journalist who was talking about January 6th. He just got 120 days in jail. Big Boom says we could have still gave him dilution without. Yeah, we could have sold 1 trillion apes at $1. We could have done that. But the stock price of ape eventually down to nothing. It would have been gone. Gorilla Garden, what's up, man? Hope all is well. It's been rough, bro. The market, AMC, and the country itself, it's really depressing. The last couple of days have just been really rough, man. I'm just seeing things that I never thought I would see happen in the United States. And it's scary. It really is. It's scary. I'm really afraid for what can happen if somehow Trump can't run in 2024. They're going to fucking split this country right in half. And all bets are off at that point. Again, I want to be ready for whatever's coming. I don't know what's coming, but I want to be ready for it. Financially, physically, mentally. Yeah, if you guys remember to hit the like button when you come in, that would be awesome. Thank you. Anya says, cannot trust the media. Yeah, because the narrative with people who are watching mainstream media right now think that Ukraine is winning the war. when they are like on the cusp of being annihilated right now. A whole generation of young men is being wiped off the face of the planet in Ukraine. BlackRock is just itching to get in there and carve up Ukraine. Gorilla Gunner says, any updates on the strike? No. I did see an article the other day. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on. I'll pull it up for you guys. Here we go. This was the other day. So maybe this is a sign that they're starting to crack. Let me pull it up. Let me know if you guys can see this on the screen. Okay. I'm just going to close the chat for 1 second so you guys can see this. So this article was from the 6th. One of the consequences of the month-long writer strike and actor strike in LA, a record number of Hollywood worker eviction and requests for rental assistance. People are becoming unhoused, they're being evicted from their apartments, and they're not paying their mortgages, so eventually they will lose their homes as well, said Bob Victor, the Motion Picture and Television Fund in Woodland Hills. Some people are living out of their cars. 4 months into the strike and almost 2 months into the actor strike, fear of losing their apartments and homes has gripped industry workers up and down the picket lines. Director of Social Service in LA has been with us for 22 years, and she just told me this morning that she's never seen this many eviction notices in this short of a period. As of late August, the fund, which is to help support these workers who are striking, dispersed more than $5.4 million to more than 2,600 film and TV workers, averaging $500,000 per week, with the greatest number of those applicants coming from California, mostly to help pay rent. But it's not going to keep the wolves at bay for long, Bector told the magazine. Some of these people are still waiting for money. So it seems like they're starting to feel the effects, right, of the strike. And again, I hate to see anyone who is hurting right now financially, especially, a union worker who's, been busting his ass for the last 20 years for these motion picture studios and making them crazy money. I hate to see this kind of stuff going on. But that's probably the best update I can give you right now, Gorilla Gardener, as far as what's going on with the strike. The actors and, the people behind the scenes, all the crew, those kind of people, they are feeling it right now. And again, not a time when you want to be in a financial pinch, but maybe they are close to cracking because they can't continue to afford to pay out these benefits. They don't have enough in their war chest to pay out all these people for an unlimited amount of time. Angelina, how you doing tonight? Dave Bala says, Lizzie says at 7 p.m. on Friday night, there were a total of 7 people in the Barbie movie. Well, that's not surprising, right? Barbie's been out for, 7 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks? I figured it might be out of the theaters by now. Oh boy, here we go with the conspiracy theorists. Hold on, let me put this comment up. So when did he become compromised? Because he said he would never consider the thought of a reverse split for his stock. He's a liar. Did Adam Aaron said that? A while back, Big Boom, maybe? I mean, eventually, again, this play changes on a daily basis. And it's constantly evolving. And dynamics are changing. I mean, there's so much volatility and unknown. And then there's 9 million YouTubers coming out telling you every which way things are possible. This is going to happen this day. And, it's hit bottom and the chart, the TA. You really can't go by any of that right now, especially where we're in a discovery phase after the reverse split, right? We're kind of trying to find where we are right now. Dave says, the reason I hold for short covering MOAS, I know most of you will spread the wealth, unlike our brokers and regulators. And again, like I said last year, I'm not going to sell any position that I had previous to now. But going forward, I have to look at the market in the most realistic way possible because, you know, I'm very well aware of what's going on. I know that there are there's big money out there betting against the market right now in general. Biden just canceled all the oil contracts out of Alaska. So, and they are phasing out ICE trucks in California by 2030. I saw some of the trucking guys on the other day talking about this, how those prices are gonna make everything go up for the consumer. We're gonna have to take on those prices. The thing in California was like a new emission system for every big rig truck that has to be outfitted with these things. And that's gonna get passed down to us. Basically, right now, the only way you can transport, I think, natural gas in the US is through the trains. That's gonna put a pinch on things. Supply chain is going to be an issue. Look at the housing market. Big Boom says the protest got us nowhere because no one supported it. Unfortunately, yeah, Big Boom, right? It wasn't the best showing. There was only like 100 of us there. And it didn't make a big difference, right? But if there was 10 of us there, it might have got a lot more airtime. And you know, people now, maybe things would be different now if we held one. Maybe people are pissed enough that they would go down in DC and really protest. I don't know. But again, it was in January. It was cold. I know a lot of people didn't want to make the trip to DC. But for those of us who did go, you know, we were serious. We were upset. Dave says he would not sign with a top leading artist for no reason. Matter of fact, yeah, Dave, that's what I was just saying, right? You don't think that her agent and her team have looked into this and done their due diligence about the company to make sure she's not going to attach? She's like the biggest megastar in the world. She's not going to attach herself and her brand to a company that's about to declare bankruptcy. That just makes no sense. Doug says people need to stop blocking on Twitter and other channels. Let the conversation happen. That needs to happen. Only block abuse. Yeah, man. I mean, look, again, I said that I feel like maybe I have myself been living in an echo chamber for the last couple of years. I've always tried to keep the conversation open on here. I don't like blocking anybody unless it's absolutely necessary. Angelina says it should be the talk of the decade. Mask, good to see you. Good to see you too, Angelina. All right, so Sharkbite's talking about my plan going forward. Let me just give you what I'm thinking, and I'm going to make this very clear in case anyone wants to question later where my loyalties lie. Again, anything I'm holding, like I said, I tried to buy back in last Thursday when Fidelity had those issues and we couldn't get onto the brokerage apps. I believe that was last Thursday. We were somewhere like around 11 or 12 bucks. I was going to throw some of my dry powder and pick up a bunch of shares, thinking that we were going to be heading in the direction. Now, Fidelity, for some reason, I couldn't log on to my brokerage app, and that saved me $6. So thank you, Fidelity, for that. At least $6 right now. But again, going forward, any shares that I hold as of today will continue to be there because I feel like those have always been a part of the original group who got in this thing and who's been loyal to me this whole time on the channel. And I feel a debt and a sense of camaraderie with all of those people who have been in since the beginning. So I will not touch any of those shares. Those will remain where they are. Anything going forward that I purchase going forward, I'm going to think long and hard if I see an upward movement in the stock about how long I'm willing to hold on to those shares. and I'll have my original shares in case we get a tremendous push and, the stock goes bonkers. Then I'll have my original investment and I can recoup all the money that I've lost. In the meantime, I need to be a retail trader. We should all be retail traders. And it doesn't need to be with AMC, right? You can trade. There's a million tickers out there you can trade. And there's a million people talking about other stocks. And I know a lot of you guys, maybe this is the only stock that you own. And if that's the case, I'm still going to be here talking about AMC because I'm holding all my original shares. But I don't want to make any promises going forward that all I'm going to do is buy and hold and hope. And just let the powers that be run amok with, no oversight and pray that everything will come together and, we'll see some kind of craziness like we've never seen before. I can't put my faith in other people. I have my faith in you guys. I have faith in the community. I have faith in the other retail investors that are with us here, right? That I have faith in. It's everyone else that I don't have any faith in. Everything that surrounds the stock market itself, the oversight, Congress, who's supposed to be checking the oversight. It's like a joke with Gary Gensler. I've seen so much over the last 2.5 years to make me wonder if we are not powerful enough, or that back in January of 2021, when we were able to pull those moves on them and catch them with their pants down, that there's just no way they're going to let that happen again. And they will do anything, just like they're doing right now with Trump. I never thought we would see a former president be indicted with 91 charges for exercising his First Amendment rights. So would I put anything past the SEC or Congress or any of those people who are all with each other and have been making money hand over fist for the last 20 years, that they're going to come to rescue me, or they want to see retail win, or they even give a shit about retail at all? The market was here before we got here. It's going to be here after we leave. Vic Booms has got me there. I'm not trying to get anyone. I just, I want to be ready for whatever's coming next. And knowing that I have my original investment in my back pocket and I can hold on to those shares and they're not going to affect me right now. I don't need to sell them. They're in God's green earth, I would sell them right now at this price. So I feel like I can keep my loyalty to everyone who's been here with me this whole time, and I won't affect anything that's happening with them. And if buying back in now after the reverse split, if that happens to come at a time when we have unbelievable FOMO, we replicate conditions and we get a massive price, I'm just going to be very leery on just hoping for the best and praying that this happens. And I want to be totally honest with everyone about that and not have anyone thinking like, oh, what is Mass doing if he's not on here? Like, besides coming across the country, guys, and having the whole thing with being sick, I haven't been doing a lot of videos or putting out a lot of information or, doing any videos at all, really, just because I don't want to be a major influence on anyone. Because at the end of the day, I understand that probably plays into everyone's decision making just a little bit, right? I know when I listen to other traders. So I don't want to be an influence, especially at a time with the reverse split and everything that happened. We talked about what we thought would happen before it did. And then I wanted to back away from it to allow everyone to make their own decisions. I didn't want to be a big influence. But I came on today just to make sure people understand where I stand with this stock, where I stand with this community. I still believe in AMC. I still believe in all of us. I have no faith in the rest of humanity right now. Sharkbite says that's reasonable, Mass. I can't. It's not the type of stock where you can come on every day and do a technical analysis and break down the chart and anticipate what's going to come the next day. Everyone has tried to do that has been wrong. So that's not going to help anybody, right? I'm not going to come on here and bash Adam Aron, or I'm not going to bash the company because I own the stock. So I'm not going to come on and do that. I would rather just not put out a video. To me, the money to make from the ad revenue to put out a couple videos a day or 7 or 8, 9 videos a week with really no substance to them, it's not worth it, right? I would rather just not talk. Unless I have something to bring to you guys that's important, or that's gonna, good news. I'm not gonna come on and bash anything, or take us down a dark path. I'm not gonna do it. Not for clicks, not for nothing. I just won't come on. And you guys know where I'm standing, and I think you guys have known that since day one. That I'm fucking in this for retail. I'm in this for us to win this, but we've been having our ass handed to us for 2.5 years, and I'm tired of losing. I can accept everything that's happened in the past, but going forward, I need to really think about, what am I willing to risk going forward? Because it is a gamble, right? There's a possibility Monday morning the stock takes off and we never go back down to 5, and I don't get in, and it makes a run and I miss it. Right? Maybe we make a 40, 50% on a day. I can't do that anymore. I can't just sit back and hope. And I know that's not for everybody. And again, it might not be necessarily connected to AMC, but I'm going to try to make some money. 2.5 years, all I've seen my portfolio go is down, 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 down. Down, 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 down. I can't remember the last time I was green. I'm tired of taking L's. And I'm extremely nervous about the future of this country over the next 12 months. I don't think we've even seen what possibly could come our way. I think we're just scratching the surface with the indictments and these arrests that have come up. And again, the war rhetoric. I mean, the warmongers are just on a path right now to literally fight to the last man in Ukraine. And then what happens after that, right? If we get and NATO gets into a conflict with Ukraine, with Russia, all bets are off. They could use their emergency powers to declare, just like Zelensky did, that they can't afford an election. He's telling Lindsey Graham he needs $5 billion to have an election. Like, shaking down Congress for more money and to save the democracy. It's such a crock of shit. I just don't know what they will do to stay in power. I don't know. I feel like we would never see some of the things that are happening right now, yet they are. Badonk says, I can't believe the Dems are the war party. Who would have ever thought? Right? Who would have ever thought that it was going to be sleepy Joe Biden that would start saber rattling with 2 nuclear war powers? You can't make this up. I think I saw the other day, Brianna Joy Gray was on with Crystal and Saga from Breaking Points. No, it was Cal Kalinske. He was talking about, they were talking about Biden and saying how they feel more comfortable with Biden in office than Trump as far as going to nuclear war. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Doug says, I agree, Matt. It's scary. Doug, just a couple things. The fact that they are locking up some of these guys, and say what you want about the Proud Boys. I'm not down with the Proud Boys. I have nothing to do with anything that they're organized with, but The fact that Enrique Tarrio had a documentary crew following him around on January 4th and 5th, wasn't in D.C. on January 6th, but just got a 22-year sentence and wasn't even in that same city, that should scare the shit out of everyone. They just, and for everyone, again, everyone who's laughing down in Georgia about Trump getting RICO'd, they just RICO'd 61 Antifa members. The same grand jury just indicted 61 Antifa members for their destruction of Cop City. So when everyone's sitting around laughing and having a good time that this happened to Trump, it's like, man, just wait a minute. It doesn't stop there. It does not stop there. Cancel Bubble says, it's interesting how the DOJ can arrest so many January 6 participants, but not, yeah, we can't even get the list, right? Cancel Bubble? Can't even get a list. Dave says, the fear is preventing people from committing more to buying lower than they did at 72. Yeah, I don't know where we're getting this evaluation from. I'm completely lost on the market. Dave says, that's why you see other stocks complain us. Shouldn't they be solely focused on their stock? Yeah, that's another thing. Like, we even have people out there who are making a living on making shit on AMC videos. So not only do we have, some of the guys out there who are doing this for a living and this is how they're making their money. I'm fine with that. I understand this is all about hustle and a grind, but this isn't, everyone's full-time job here, and they're not trying to make it be. And we not only do we have people who are misinterpreting things and not understanding how to read financial documents, but then we have the other crowd who's just shitting all over AMC. People that you all know, that you know them by face or name, making content shitting on AMC. So we're getting it from our own people, and then we got the haters who are doing the same thing to us. So we're getting tag teamed here. Angelina says, all we can do is hold on to the truth we know. No one can convince me the world is a lovely place. Hold it together, Apes family. Be afraid. Be a friend to each other. Thanks, Mass, for covering this. Thanks, Angelina, for coming by, hon. Good to see you. I hope you're well. Hope you're well. Big Boom says, didn't think he was a criminal until he made ape behind our back. You, Big Boom, you talking about that they were discussing it in the meetings before it actually they made the announcement? As we saw that they were talking about it before they even did it. I mean, eventually at some point they start talking about it, right? But the wording is important, right? AA, and I forget who was talking at that point, but they were saying they wanted to release and make sure that they didn't rustle retail's feather, while also being able to use it to raise money. So it's not lost on me that was absolutely shady. 1000%. I will agree with you, 10 times out of 10 on that. I don't like the way that was worded, what they said behind it, how they described it behind closed doors as opposed to what they told retail. Not a fan. Matter of fact, that's probably one of my biggest peeves about Adam Aron was some of that discussion that was going on at that time. Now, were they getting desperate because we kept denying them shares? Probably. And again, at that point, why not just, if you really wanted to declare bankruptcy, that was the time. Dave said, AA said that to trade, but didn't expect it to be short abused down by exempt shares. Behind the comments again. Damn it. Sorry. Jimmy Papa George says, how do you think they will prevent Trump from running? Another cyber attack? pandemic forbidding him to run. So I don't know if the pandemic thing's going to work again. I've seen the press releases from the White House talking about the vaccine that's coming out on the 14th. I've seen that. Now there's a bunch of idiots out there like Whoopi Goldberg, and I saw another guy on Fox News the other day who's on his 7th booster and getting ready to lock down again. I don't know if that will work again. What I said in the past was the only way I think that would happen again, the pandemic and the lockdowns, was if the whatever that they engineered attacked children. Because then, it's one thing when it's happening with old people who have comorbidities and adults and people who can make up their own minds on whether they want to wear a mask or get a vaccine or stay in or go out. The only way I think they'd be able to do that again is if they went after the kids. If there was something that was particularly deadly to children, it's the only way you would get anyone to lock down again in this country. I don't think that will happen. Cyber attack absolutely is possible. We know our cybersecurity is terrible, awful. The guy resigned last year who was the head of the cybersecurity for U.S., saying that China's already infiltrated us and taken all of our secrets and has access to be able to do that. I think that they might use something in Ukraine to, I don't know, make it so that people are too afraid to elect Trump. If we're in the middle of a hot war with boots on the ground, with U.S. troops in Ukraine, it's going to be an extremely scary time. The threat of nuclear war hanging right over our heads. And having an election in the middle of something like that is going to be very difficult for people to want to shake things up, possibly, especially independents. And that's who you have to win, right? You got to win over the independents, those who are kind of trying to make up their mind right now. They might just say, you know what? I'm going to stick with Joe Biden because we're in the middle of a war right now. And I don't think, that can't be good for especially the left, because they don't want Trump to come in, because like he said, and I don't think he'll end the war in 24 hours, but I think he will cut off the aid. And if that happens, then the war's over. Like, when he was saying he would stop it in a day, I think he was being facetious, but literally, as soon as you cut off that funding to Ukraine, that's it. It's the only thing keeping them afloat now. And the fact that they continue to throw them into a meat grinder against that defensive line. Candace says, Antara and a bunch of other institutions have also now bought massive put options on us. Yeah, everyone's betting against us. Yeah. Yep. Mike says, free Trump. I saw, did anyone see his speech the other day that he gave in South Dakota? Dave says, check Morantz. His mods block real comments. Is he? 24 the money. How you doing tonight? Says, if AA trends on Twitter as Madoff 2.0, Taylor Swift people will take notice. That's for sure. That's for sure. Sharkbite says, Mash, you've been cool the entire time. I respect you no matter what. Your finances, your finances. I understand that, right? But I also have an obligation to everyone here that's been loyally sticking through this with me and has been holding the stock the whole time. So I don't want questions coming back down the line. What is Mass doing? Or just know that, going forward, I'm looking at this play totally different. But anything I've done up till now will stay as it is. And I'm so nervous about the future. I really am. I really am. And I hate to be, Debbie Downer or a pessimist, but I don't like the way things are going right now. Avid viewer, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight? Jeffrey Rocha, what's going on, bro? How you doing? Big Boom says the only guy that is in AMC that's green is Dave, apparently. Dave, you're the only green one? You got any green you could throw me? Because I'm not. Dave says, Mass is a lone wolf. I'm sub 2. All the reviews crying about other streamers. Look, man, there's plenty of finger pointing to go around, and I'm not going to go after and attack any YouTubers out there. Like, it's not worth our time, right? We got to focus on what we can control right now. I can't control the YouTubers or what they say or what they do. I can only control what's right in front of me. That's you guys, and my own portfolio and what I'm going to do. The finger pointing just really, it's pointless right now. There's a million people to blame, or that you could blame. But for me personally, there's only one person I can blame, and that's me, right? I'm the one who made these decisions. I'm the one who didn't sell it in the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, seeing it come down, down, down. I had plenty of chances, right? I had plenty of chances. I could have got out when the ape started crashing, and everyone was saying it's not worth anything, and could have got out before the reverse split, and I didn't, and that's cost me a lot, right? It's costing a lot of money, and I can't continue to take L's. It's not being a good retail trader. If we're not thinking forward, then we're not really doing our job as a retail trader. Everything's based on speculation. It's a gamble, and Gus says maybe Taylor should drop some of her millions into the stock. That'd be nice. I mean, I even saw people the other day on Twitter saying, why don't we just have all 3.5 million apes donate $400 to AMC? And I'm like, why am I going to do that? Why would I give them? I will help AMC by going to movies, buying popcorn, and, buying the stock when I can, especially at discounted prices right now. We don't have to give anything to AMC. They don't need our money. What they need to do is continue with their business model, continue to find other ways of bringing in profit, like the popcorn, like doing the concerts. That's what they need to continue to do. Continue to evolve, shut down poor performing locations, right? Revamp some of the older ones. Jennifer says, garbage movement we have. Why do you say that, Jennifer? Why is there garbage movement? Chrismo says, come on, Matt, say the words. What words am I saying? Banana Republic? So funny. We sit there waving our fingers at everyone else, telling them how to run a democracy. We're losing our Second Amendment and First Amendment rights as we speak. Andrew, how you doing tonight? 24 the money. What's going on, bro? Says MMOTP saga heading to Supreme Court. Saw that. Yep. Congress of Trade and Blue States. Yeah. Nobody is coming in to save us. So FINRA, I saw that, is refusing to give Congress a trade in blue sheets. Yeah. I saw someone else talking the other day about Finger and GTII and how that squeeze is going to be life-changing. And I just, I see this stuff and I'm like, is nobody paying attention? Like, who's going to force those guys to cover those shares on GTII and Finger? Who's going to make them do that? How are we going to ever know? Ellie, how you doing tonight? Says, hey, Mass, hope you're doing well. Long time no see. Nobody is selling these prices. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. Anybody who's in this play since March or April of 2021 obviously isn't selling at these prices. The question is, what can I do with the dry powder that I do have right now and put it to the best of my benefit? And you guys will all be thinking that way, right? You need to look out for each other, but also look out for your family, for other ways of bringing in money. You don't have to go against AMC or GME or anything like that, right? There's other ways out there. There are other things we can be talking about and ways to make money. Oh man, way behind the chat. Sorry guys. Tim, how you doing tonight? All right, guys. I gotta start getting ready very soon. I gotta start wrapping this up. Grandpa Barney, I hope you got my message, man. Grandpa says, buy and hold AMC, lose your eyes, prove me wrong. Grandpa, I'm just starting to get on with the notion that I gotta get out of that echo chamber, right, man? Totally. Totally. Thank you, Grandpa Barney. Good to see you. But yeah, I gotta get out of that echo chamber. And I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm not saying, I'm just letting you guys what I'm doing going forward. I have to look at this differently because for the last 2.5 years, been taking L's and I'm tired of it. It's costing me a fortune. And I gotta find some ways to try to recoup that. Wherever it is in the market, I think I can pull a little bit from here, here, here. And again, my original shares that I've had since the beginning will stay where they are. So I don't mess with anyone's numbers. I don't mess with anything that's already been accounted for. But going forward, the strategy, I have to shift it up. Everybody, good to see you. Anya says, can we not go political? Yeah, Anya, I got to start getting ready. I can now, so I really got to get in the shower and get ready. What are we on? 1:45? I'm not sure. I kind of want to continue this conversation for a little bit, but I have to get ready. So I'm not sure if I'm going to come back on tonight or tomorrow, but before the market opens on Monday, I want to elaborate a little bit about like what I've heard other people doing, where I've seen other people making money. I want to talk about a few of those things so that Monday, we might get news very soon from ARON that, dilution is done and we're not dropping any more shares. Who knows? So 2024. And once that news drops, anything can happen. We just got to be ready for it. All right. I'm going to get this down here. Kevin says, hey, Mass, cheers from Canada. Really get a chance to catch the lives here. The time change. Hope you landed well after your trip. Yeah, man. Yes, Kevin. I'm up by your neck of the woods right now, my friend. I have a view says, I totally agree, man. Grandpa Party says, do you want to make up your loss on AMC? They trade the hell out of it. Ride the wave. Anya says, that's what I'm doing. View says, Moran says, loves GME, but loves live AMC. Yeah, I wrote to him the other day asking him if he was going to do a video about like where GME's headed. What does he think about long term, about like the brick and mortar, and what are his thoughts on Ryan Cohen taking over and all the board moves? I sent him a comment the other day asking him about that. I still have most of my GME shares too. So yeah, I was asking him about that the other day, but I guess he wanted to go bash AMC as usual. But I did actually ask him that. Brocape, what's going on, man? Thank you so much, Brocape. Appreciate you, bro. Says, wish you all Maswo. Wish you well, Mass. Continue to do good, my brother. I appreciate you, Brocape. Thank you, man. Tony, I'm going to finish with your comment. Yeah, Brocape. Thank you, man. Tony says, Phil Burgess, all companies that are contemplating dilution put risk warnings in the prospectus. Oh, I saw that. Legal requirement to cover their... Yeah. Yep. And again, just we've all heard what Adam Aarons had to say about everything in the open. We've seen all the filings. We know everything that's gone on. Now we just got to decide, like, what are we going to do going forward? How are we going to try to turn the tables in our favor? And I do want to talk about that a little more. I do got to run and get in the shower, but we will talk about that before the market opens on Monday, either whether it's later tonight and I catch maybe some West Coast people or some guys who are still up, or if it's tomorrow. One way or the other, we will reconvene before. We'll reconvene before. All right, guys, I got to go. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the super chatters, everyone who just came by tonight to talk and let their opinions out there. And if you have some frustrations, I hope you were able to get them out tonight. And I hope this was a reasonable conversation that we had about where we stand right now. And like I said, on the other side, we'll pick it up and we'll talk about maybe what's coming next. We can get more. I know Anya doesn't want to get into political stuff, but a lot going on, man. It's a scary time for the United States right now. We literally are living in a banana republic. I've never thought we'd see this, but here we are. All right, guys. Love you all. Stay strong. Keep your head up. Get some rest, and we will talk very soon. All right, guys. Have a good night. Love you.